Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a very fun one. It is a collaboration with friend of the channel, Marti. If you're not familiar, Marti used to be my editor and now she's off to bigger and better things with her own YouTube channel that she started a few months back that now already has over 1,000 subscribers, so she's just killing it over there. So she came to me a little while back with the idea of doing a collaboration in the style of like Skein Spider and Complicated Knots, where they make what they call Franken-patterns. They each make a piece, send the instructions for that piece to the other person. That person makes a piece, sends those instructions back, and they go back and forth till they have about 6 pieces in total, 3 made by each. And then they put those pieces together to make a thing. Marti and I did that. We have our videos now all ready to go for you. So you'll want to watch to the end to 1, see what I made, and then 2, see my reaction to what she made. And I gotta say, I think she beat me on this one. You guys let me know down below what you think when you see mine, and then go watch her video and then like come back and let me know. I think she won. I think she won. Not that it was a competition, but if it was, I think she won. And if you want to participate with us, the patterns for each part that we made for our collaboration is down below in the description box. There's no instructions for how to put them together, but you will have the patterns for all 6 pieces so you can make your own thing. And then you can go tag me on Instagram at Works of Whimsy Crochet Co. Let me see what you made because I would love to check it out. My social media handles are also linked down below too if you like don't want to remember my handle. It's cool. Now let's get into it. Okay, so I don't exactly know the format of this video yet because Marti and I decided this was her idea and she pitched the collab. So we decided to do this collab based on collaborations that 2 other crochet YouTubers have done in the past, and that would be Complicated Knots and Skein Spider, however you want to say that word. So they created the concept of the Franken pattern, which we're taking and doing a little bit different because when they do it, they each create a piece of a thing back and forth. So the first person will create a piece, send the pattern over. The second person will create the next piece, send the pattern back over. And then you have those like 2 pieces you're building off of. And they usually go back and forth 3 pieces each, if that makes sense. And then they take those 6 pieces, 3 of which were designed by each person, and put it together to make a thing. So Marti and I are doing that, but a little bit different. We are doing 6 pieces, 3 each, but we're pre-making like all 3 right up front. So I feel like that makes it a little more challenging because we don't know really the size. I did ask and she said her largest piece is about 20 stitches wide and about 13 rows tall, which in plush yarn, which is what I tend to use, that is actually kind of large, but she uses worsted weight, so that's another thing that makes it interesting. Obviously, you can take a worsted weight pattern and make it, you know, big and vice versa, but I feel like at times, sometimes it doesn't quite translate between the 2. I just feel like plush yarn camouflages things, so when you shrink it down, it sometimes looks weird, but you can definitely take any worsted weight pattern and just make it ginormous, I feel like. And maybe that's just me. So I don't know where I'm gonna go with this. I think another thing she told me was that she made support pieces. Now, I don't know if that necessarily means they're all like accessory pieces, like arms, legs, that kind of vibe, or if she means like support, like, you know, a body supports a head, and maybe that. And I didn't want to ask too much because I also feel like that's kind of part of the fun, because if like her and I both make heads, then we either have to lean into the whole 2-headed thing, or we have to, you know, get creative what we're gonna do with the second piece that is quite obviously to one of us a head. So yeah, it'll just be interesting. I do think I'm going to do wings because I feel like some type of winged creature would be cool, and I feel like even though that's not a main body piece, that can be adapted to fit the body of like anything. I feel like you could put wings on anything, so I feel like that's like a good safe piece. And I feel like even though I'm going to tell her to make 2, I'm going to count this as 1 piece for me, just because there are, you know, things for the most part that make sense, like 2 arms for something or 2 legs for something. Not that you can't have more than that, but it could be a hindrance to the pattern to be like, okay, you can only have 1 arm on the pattern. What do you make with that? I don't know. So yeah, I think we're going to just go with a pair of wings as piece 1. So I think I like the shape of the wings I used for my dragon. So I'll put the link for like the actual dragon pattern in the description of this video, but I think I'm going to go with wings. So I am going to work on these wings and then show you what I have after I make both, and then we'll go from there in figuring out what we're doing for piece 2 and 3. I do think I need at least one head and or body, or head and body piece, but I don't want to make like necessarily a complete thing with my 3 and then have to figure out how to take my complete thing and add 3 pieces to it. So I just don't know where I'm going with it yet.
Mama, I love the soda.
I love the soda too. Say bye to the camera. Bye. So I got done what I'm intending to be wings. I don't know if she'll use them as wings, but we'll have to see. I'm intending them to be wings. I don't know where to go next. So what I'm doing is scrolling through patterns that I own and just kind of seeing what kind of shapes I can mimic for something. I thought about doing like a round head that like dips in and then goes into like a round body, but then I realized that's really similar in shape to the aforementioned dragon that I've borrowed the wings from. So I don't want to do making pieces of my own pattern for this game. I know I did it for that particular thing, but that was just because I felt like I wanted to do a winged creature, and they're like good sized wings and I like how they come out, like, you know, that's already tried and true. So yeah, I definitely don't want to do that like bean shaped body, just because like been there, done that. So I'm not sure what to do next. I want to avoid like humanoid characters. I want to avoid doing something too small, like putting some like legs and arms just a couple rows apart, because I think that could be too small for what Marti has got working on. I don't want to essentially like back us into a thing where we're like stuck out of options, but I also don't want to go like, I don't know, too far left field and then we just have like wings, arms, legs, and no body. So I don't know, it's kind of tough, directionally challenging. I think I'm just going to start crocheting some type of head shape and just see where we end up. Oh, by the way, I'm using dark blue yarn because I've got a lot of it. So we're, at least for me, I'm probably not keeping my final pieces in this color, but we'll just kind of see where that ends up. Okay, so when I was going through my own patterns to look for shape inspiration, I didn't really find any. So as I was like starting this piece, I was just like thinking about like what animal I could channel, since I really couldn't like get the inspiration I was looking for shape wise. Like I thought I was going to see a shape in a pattern and want to like replicate it. But when I started making this, I knew I didn't want to do just like a straight simple sphere, and I decided that like a bear would be far away from a dragon or a dinosaur. And now that I'm looking at it, I was feeling bear, but now I feel like, I don't know, maybe I've seen this on an otter. I thought I'd seen it on a bear. Maybe I've seen it on an otter, because I feel like with little ears, it's feeling ottery. But it could definitely be legs. I don't know what the front part would be, but that's why I don't want to close this up, because I don't want to hinder her, because this is definitely like a team thing, but I also don't want to sew. And now this is where I struggle, because I don't want to sew. I do technically have the option of making this a head and body piece, but I feel like that's too much of the main thing and is like a less collaborative effort that way. So since I made a main piece, you know, the head, I don't necessarily want to make the body, just because like I don't want to be taking that opportunity away. Not that she knows that I've made the head. She might make her own head, but I definitely don't want this pattern to be like too much mine. You know what I'm saying? So now I have to figure out a third piece, and to be honest, I have no idea. I've got a head, I've got wings. If you were playing too, I know I'm going to have like the resolution to this by the time you're seeing the video, but if you were seeing this and you were in my position, you tell me in the comments below what kind of piece you would make next, and whether you think it would have been worth it to make a body piece also, because I would love to find out. But I'm going to brainstorm a little bit off camera, because it's going to be just me sitting here, and then come back once I know what I'm doing. Okay, for the last piece, I do believe I have decided on a tail because I'm not really sure why. Just don't want to do a body, so I thought a tail might, you know? So I'm trying to kind of give it like a swoop, a little bit of a swoop kind of vibe, and I want it to sit like flat against a back, so if the piece doesn't really have legs, this will kind of be like a supporting, standing, like to prop it up kind of piece, you know? These are bad examples because they're all like flat-bodied. I don't really have anything as a good example, but basically it'll be like a support for the back. So hopefully that works out, and we'll just have to see, really. So it's pretty small right now. I'm definitely gonna make it a bit bigger. Not crazy, a couple of rounds, but you know, this is gonna be the general shape. See how it's starting to like curve up, and like obviously it's tapering. That's the whole vibe I'm going for. Okay, I'm back for a quick second. So taking a page out of Complicated Knots and Skein Spider's original video, there was one piece that the girl from Complicated Knots made that she said that she was making, I think she ended up making 3 for, or maybe she made 3 but used 1. But basically she ended up saying something along the lines of make as many as you think you need kind of vibe. So for me, I feel like at this point, this is definitively a tail. But like I said, I'm not out here trying to pigeonhole. If she wants to do a unicorn or a narwhal or, you know, something with horns, I want her to be able to. So I am going to, for this particular pattern, part of the pattern, I'm going to tell her to make as many as she thinks she needs, because I feel like they could be, like I said, they could be horns, but maybe they're even like spikes down a back, and we're back at that whole like dragon dinosaur vibe. So I think that makes it interesting. I guess that's it for right now, and then we'll figure out what we're doing at some point next. I don't know how long we're going to need with each other's parts, because for this particular part, we originally allotted like 5 days, and we're on like day 2. So we definitely didn't need the full 5 days, because I sat down and did this in just over the course of like an hour or 2. But yeah, we'll see. So this video is not working out how I intended. I have some clips that I filmed like a while back that you're probably seeing like before this, maybe I'll put this before that, I don't know. But it's me making my pieces with my little collab with Marti. And then today I sat down and filmed me making her pieces and then talking out what like thing I was gonna do and then revealing my like little final form that I made. But I realized I recorded like all of that without audio because I was using the wrong cord with my new camera because I hate technology and technology hates me. So I'm going to do the best I can to kind of like recreate that. Initially, I started out with creating these 3 pieces, and I'll explain to you what my thoughts were. So I got this piece. Oh, it's got a fuzz on it. This piece I figured would be like a head, or maybe like this way it could be like the body of something, and these could be like little leggies. Seemed cool. The next piece I made was this little thing. I figure this could be like a wing, like this way, or maybe sewn on a body like this. It could be like a webbed foot kind of situation, because I've seen some like duck patterns have feet kind of like this. So that was my thought with that. And then this final piece, I figured this could either be like a horn, or maybe like spike things like the side horns like on a cow, or perhaps maybe it's like a tail. So that was my 3 pieces. I tried to make them like relatively like versatile. Like if those little nubbins had been feet, this could have been a tail off the back. But let me show you the pieces that I made with Marti's patterns. The first one I made was this. So working off what I already have of my own, I thought like this is either a foot. I've seen a lot of like feet in patterns like this, or you know, maybe it could be like a giant antennae. You know? Could be. The next piece was this. This was when I started to get a little bit worried because I've got a similar piece, and this means this is obviously going to have to be a tail, I feel like, because it's so much bigger than this. So that put this into the category of horn, because that was my only 2 ideas with it. So I'm over here praying at this point that the last piece is something I could work, because like, what if it's not? And then I got real nervous because this was the last piece, and I'm like, well, that's a little bit small to be a body, a little bit small to be a head, not too big to be like a horn. Like, what are we doing? So I, in the original video, had talked it out with Zach kind of on camera because he's home today because it's a weekend, about what to do. And we thought of something like this. So like a long kind of bug body, and then these as legs, which it's hard to kind of see. And then these would be wings, and then this would be like a horn on its head, something like that. And that morphed into same concept. Like the bug thing was his idea. He originally mentioned spider, but I was not trying to make like that many legs. So I went bug and was like 4 legs will do it. So head, the like middle part of a bug, a stinger, 4 legs sticking out, 2 horns on the head, one here, and then wings in the back. So kind of some type of like flying dragonfly-y situation or something. And I kind of ended up with an or something. So yeah, I don't really have any like crochet with me as I'm making Marti's pieces. So at this point, we're just gonna jump right into like revealing it. Well, we'll talk about color real quick because that played a little bit of a role in what I was doing. I already knew it was going to kind of be like a little bit weird shaped and maybe even weird proportionally because I feel like a portion of these makes sense and then the proportions of these make sense, but I don't know if they're proportional together, if that makes sense. I feel like this is like one size down from this, so that made it a little bit challenging. So I figured the proportions were going to be weird. I figured we were going to be doing some type of bug creature, so I felt like the only saving grace was going to be like the color palette, and I wanted to do like a nice pretty, you know, shall I say like girly kind of color palette, just you know, something pretty to like help balance out the fact that it's going to probably be weird. So I picked some teal, some blue, a color called Rose, which is definitely kind of like a mauve-y, like pinkish purple. And then I used that Parfait, I don't know if it's Parfait Chunky, but it's the Bloom yarn. The yarn that like looks like little like rosebuds when you crochet with it. So I like used that kind of like blue, pink, floral vibe to make the thing. And now I will show you the thing and then tell you like what pieces ended up where and how I did it, and yeah. So here is the unveiling of mine. Ta-da! This is the front. Cute, cute. And then this is the back. And let me not block the little stinger. So I'm calling it like a bug monster, but you guys let me know what you think it looks like because I'm not really sure, but I feel like bug monster is about as like accurate a description as we can get. And because of that, I'm not sure if the color palette makes sense because like bugs and monsters are not like cute things, and it's got like a cute color palette. Let's zoom in on him. Okay, so let's explain what parts are where and what parts got like modified. So we'll start with the head. The main part of the head, the blue, was originally this piece. The sample pieces I made were made with like an 8mm hook. I made him with 7 just because I was using Bernat Blanket with this one and then Sweet Snuggles Light and like Chenille Home Slim for parts of this, which tends to be a little bit thinner than Bernat Blanket. So I wanted to size down the hook just to make sure there was no holes. So yeah, the head is this piece. That was one of my pieces. Now what I did, because the little like snout that we had going on was kind of looking cat-like, like these were ears, and I was not digging that with the bug body. So I like poked them in and then used this mouth to cover that. So that's kind of modification 1. And I like his fangs because it definitely fits with the monster kind of like devil look. 2, these were the horns, also my piece. And I did originally what I thought, you know, used them as like horns on the head. And I ended up making 2 of those. And then the third piece of mine was this, and I used it how I thought I would to make wings. And again, I made 2. But as far as like modifications go, making 2 of those and 2 of those and then like popping in the bobble stitches is all I did. Now for Marti's pieces, this part was this piece, and the modification I made here is I added 1 more round just so I could add 4 decreases into it so I could make it compatible with the bottom of this. This ends with 16 stitches. This originally ended with 20 stitches, but I wanted like ease of sewing and this is supposed to be fun. So I just did an extra decrease round. It I feel like doesn't change the overall shape of this all that much because I'm only taking up 4 stitches, so it's not like I'm really rounding this out, closing it, but it made it compatible with the head. So that's what I did there. And then I took this piece and sewed the, what I thought was going to be a tail and turned out to be a stinger onto it. So you can see that here, right there. There was no modifications made to that. It was just sewn right on. And then we have these arms and legs, I guess, which was this piece. Now I didn't quite modify this, but I did sew it closed so I could crochet it right onto the like body pieces. So I don't know if you count that as a modification, but it just made it easier than sewing it on. But there you have it. It's a little bug man. Guy, lady. And then I just picked some like blue glitter eyes to go with the color scheme. And I feel like it really kind of rounds out the like, I'm a monster, but I'm also cute vibe that it's got going on. And yeah, I think it's super cute, and it's like the best I could do with like 6 random pieces, because obviously the whole goal of this was to take some random pieces and to make it into a thing, and I ended up with like a bug monster, and it definitely could have come out worse. I think that might actually sell at my market, so yeah. So you guys in the comments below, let me know what you think it is, and if this character should have a name, and if you want this pattern listed on my Etsy for sale. Also, let me know what you think Marti is going to make with those pieces as well, and that'll be in the next section of this video, is me reacting to what she made. You're not going to see it on this channel on this video. I'm going to have hers linked so you could go watch it, but you are going to see my genuine reaction to what she made, because I'm very much looking forward to it. And yeah, I'm ready. Did you make it like in the final colors and everything?
Huh?
Did you make it in like the final colors and everything?
Yeah, it's ready.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Ooh, that's f***ing lit. So it is like a